be single and waiting and doing nothing, so the time when you're not married is actually a time that God is giving you to better yourself. And this is not just, as a person, you need to also learn and unlearn, let go of those toxic traits, look at your past relationships. What are those things you learned from them? What do you need to change? Heal from that trauma, when feminism is being talked about, they're very vocal. They're like, why would you even, like, it doesn't make sense now. Why would you tell a woman to do this? Or why would you say this?
But
marry him first. You know what a pick me is now? Do you know what a pick me is? Okay, let me educate you.
Educate me, please. What household chore do you hate the most?
Dishes. I hate doing dishes.
Yeah, so Jamila, I have another question to ask you.
Shoot.
What do you think are some examples of this kind of career risk, right, that was asking women to take while they are single?
I like that question. First of all, I would say,
and also share your own personal experience, even though you're not married yet. But what are the things you're doing now? That you know that you might not have time when you're married.
I would say, first of all, take that certification course. Take that course. Take that job. Move to that city. Just step out of your comfort zone, and just looking on your goals, looking on your values, looking on what you're looking at. Shut out the world, because people are going to talk. Yeah, people are going to talk. When I was younger, I had that fear of hitting 30 and not being married. By the grace of God, I have hit 30 and I'm not married and I'm not dead. But I'm stacking up the papers and I'm stacking up the certifications. I'm pivoting in my career. I'm doing essentially anything I want to do. So the most important lesson is, try and lock in. You need to lock in. You can't just be that lady that is single. You can't be neither here nor there. You can't just be single and waiting and doing nothing. So God, the time when you're waiting to get married, the time when you're not married, is actually a time that God is giving you to better yourself. And this is not just about career. As a person, you need to also learn and unlearn. Let go of those toxic traits. Look at your past relationships. What are those things you learned from them? What do you need to change? Heal from that trauma. It's just like, it's God giving you that chance, take. Because there are lots of people that are married and they wish they could have like 6 months of being single again, just to be single with no responsibilities, nobody to have to cater to or even cook for every day, all those things. So I'd say, as a young lady, take up that job. If you feel like, oh, there's a job that is coming, you have a job opportunity, or you have an opportunity that can lead to a job that will make you bigger,
a learning opportunity.
Don't sit down and be like, oh my God, what if? No, take it up. You'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. People that are doing it, they don't have two heads. People are earning a lot of money, they don't have two heads. Some of them, you are smarter than them. You just need to lock in. So that's what I'll say.
Thank you so much, Jamila. Let me come in here. I mean, I'm hoping that our audience are not just Africans or Nigerians. I'm hoping that we have like a broader audience, a wider and diverse audience. But there's one thing I've noticed in an African home. The setting usually is that you go to school, you have milestones to reach, and it's for a woman, right? It's usually you, after school, you get a job and you get married, and none of that involves maybe leaving your father's house. I'm using myself as an example. It had always been go to school, after school, graduate, get a job, go to your husband's house from your father's house. And for me, and I know this might be different for a lot of people, but for me, I had a lot of learning and unlearning to do. I had a lot of growing to do that I couldn't do in the house. So I feel like I started learning and I started making that, those kind of big decisions when I stepped out of my comfort zone. And my comfort zone was my father's house, right?
Yeah.
When I left home, that was like a really big step. There was nothing I didn't hear. Because I came from a very strict home. My dad would not, he didn't want to hear about that. As in, it was very bold of me to have said that I wanted to leave. So, but in those years where I left home, I was able to discover myself. And this is what I've learned, that there are many women that have gotten married, just straight off the bat, following that trajectory that has been set forth for them by their parents, and they didn't have time, to discover themselves, especially people that probably didn't have or just needed to do a lot of work in themselves. They didn't have that time.
Yeah.
to work on themselves. They didn't have that opportunity to do so. But for me, and again, I'm very particular about saying that this is my own story, right? Living home helped me grow. Like, oh my God, it was like
Yeah, I
it
agree with
helped me
you.
grow in a way that, and I feel like, and I know that I'm ready, right? I'm my own self. So I'm not just going to go into marriage to discover who I am, which is why a lot of I think a lot of marriages also um you know um have conflicts at some point, because the woman is then discovering herself inside the marriage, and then she's discovering that, well, this is probably not the kind of person I want. And or especially if she's not married to somebody that is tuned to her goal, that wants her to grow, that wants her, that also changes, that the way she's changing, that person is also changing, and changing in terms of growing, right? So
Yeah.
both of you are growing together. There are people that don't want you to grow, they just want you to be at that level where they met you, and that's not going to happen. So for me, I'm just glad that I had that experience. So I want Jamila to share, like, how the culture of, how your cultural experience would shape that old risk taking for you, because men are advised to take risks but women are not, because there's a trajectory, there's a threshold
Yeah,
of things.
I think it's thanks so much for that question, Lola. It's a narrative that has been pushed for thousands of years, that the man is the provider and the woman is the nurturer.
Yeah.
But over time, we've seen that there are settings where it works, even though it could be looking like it's working on the surface, but
Hmm.
inside there are people who are unhappy about the situation, but they just suck it up because that's what they've been dished. And that's why, as in the world that we're in now, especially if you are still a single lady, you're now in a position to change the trajectory of your life, the
Yeah.
trajectory of your marriage, the marriage you're going to end up in. So it's a narrative. You find out that in this day and age, men are the providers, but women are providing more in some contexts.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, especially, there are lots of women that are breadwinners, but they are winning the bread and they're still kneeling down to serve the food, and they're doing all the household chores.
Yeah.
It's not a problem to kneel down and serve food. It's not a problem to do
No.
household chores. It's just about being realistic. If you as a man, you're not, even if you provide, you should still help your wife out in the kitchen,
Exactly.
help her out in the household chores, because she's also working. She's not just sitting down and just doing household chores. She has to go out to work as well and come back and do household chores. So even if you're a provider, you should still help your wife out in the kitchen, because
Hmm.
a lot of romance in the household dies because of that
Yeah.
thing. They say women are always tired when it's time to do the do.
Yes.
Women, have a headache, but I've spent, well, not me. She has spent the whole day. She has spent the whole day running after children, cleaning up the house, cleaning up after you, the husband, cle- you know so she's literally running the home and losing her mind, and you
And
wonder why
another
she's
thing, when you
cranky
even
all
have
the time.
money, like, why do I have to do some of these things?
Do you know
I
what I
think
mean?
there are lots of people, there are lots of women also, not just the men, that feel like your service as a wife, or what defines you as a wife, is in the responsibilities and in the duties you do,
Yeah.
right? You forget the place of these things can be now outsourced, right? So that I can be more productive, I
Hmm.
can be more present, you
Yeah.
know. So
Because
yeah.
men say that, oh, what do women bring to the table? It's not just to cook and clean. I can get a house help for that. But the thing is, if you actually outsource the helping and everything, she can be of more value, because then
Mm,
she can listen, she can empathize with you, she can support you mentally, emotionally, even
yeah.
financially. By the time you begin
Exactly.
to outsource all those
You
physical
have
tasks,
more room
you will
to.
then see her actual value. So
Mm,
there are scenarios where in the marriage the woman doesn't do any cooking and cleaning, and she is very, very productive to the man. You find out there are some cases where, especially for very successful people, the woman has transcended that point where
yes.
it's all about cooking and cleaning. Everything is outsourced. So now she and her husband, they are partners. He sees her beyond a house help or whatever, and then she's
And
bringing
not just
value.
because she has transcended that part, or right from the start, it's just been, maybe they probably had an agreement, or this
Or
is
maybe
what
the
we
guy is
do.
just somebody who is, aside being high value, he also understands the worth of a woman
Yeah.
beyond cooking and cleaning. And she has also
Mm,
set that pace. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? So I feel like, and this still goes back to when you're single, before you get married, you need to sort out yourself in a way that you're already grounded in the kind of woman you are,
Yeah.
what you like and what you don't like, what you can take and what you can't take.
Yeah.
So that when the man comes in,
Mm-hmm.
if he comes and he's like, oh, I want a woman that will be washing my clothes with her hand, you say, hey, yeah, oh yeah. You go be. Do you know what I mean? So you're not at the point where you just need someone to marry you and give you a surname and put a ring on your finger and start feeding you. You're good by yourself. You need a partner, and then it makes it easy for you to respect the man. Because I personally, when I come across a guy that values women beyond cooking and cleaning, it's just like, oh my god, like I respect you so much.
Like there are so many women that value women beyond cooking and cleaning. Oh, well, maybe on the surface of it, but
just see, don't let them whine you. Them go whine you, but no panic. They will say all the nice things. There are men that when you tell them, oh, I need a man that will not just want me to be cooking and cleaning, you'll be like, yes, now, but why would they want just be cooking and cleaning? You can get a house at Nalayo. When you go inside, when you go inside, you see the real color. So it actually has to be just beyond the surface.
In this time and age, like we see a lot of men that are quote unquote woke, right? But they're still very traditional.
See, they are feminists. When feminism is being talked about, they're very vocal. They're like, why would you even like it doesn't make sense now. Why would you tell a woman to do this? Or why would you say this?
But
marry him first. God. Your eye will see. So don't let them whine you. Make sure that as you're seeing, and
sometimes how do you even know in the first place? How do you sometimes then get to know?
You see the red flags, but what he's saying in your mind, you're just like, he has said this now. They can't be, because I've been with somebody who, when you talk about feminism, when I try to explain to him what feminism is about, because there's a movement online, especially in Nigeria or in Africa, to just have a misconception of the word feminism. So when you say I'm a feminist, everybody thinks she hates men, but that's not what feminism is about. So when he's talking about feminism or all these feminists, and I ask him, do you know what feminism is? He was like, why would you say that you will not cook for your husband? I'm like, that's not feminism. And then I start explaining to him, feminism allows men to be able to have equal opportunities, go to school, vote, be able to take up careers, be able to choose what career they want and whether or not they want to even pursue a career.
Provide access.
And then he says, but that's not feminism, that's common sense. I'm like, there's a reason why it is a concept, feminism, because in the past women couldn't do this thing. So he wants to insist on seeing feminism as women who hate men or women who don't want to cook for their husband. When I try to educate him, he's like, no, that's not feminism, that's just common sense now. Why would you say a woman should not vote? So he now makes it seem like, he believes in women equality, that should be common sense, it should be like, what's obtainable. But in my interactions with him on a day-to-day, you realize that he's actually a misogynist. But he sounds like, feminism, it shouldn't even be a thing.
So it's always in the patterns, it's always in when you interact with them and you see. So it's not just surface level. When somebody tells you, of course, I'm a feminist, and and I do get it that a lot of people have confused the meaning of feminism, right? Even women, do you understand? Even a lot of women have confused what do you get, right? It's
especially the pick-me's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain.
Because you know what a pick-me is now? Do you know what a pick-me is? Okay, let me educate you.
Educate me, please.
A pick-me is a lady that likes to say things that suit men's kind of mentality, so that men will see them as, she's different, So like the way when a man says, why would a feminist say why wouldn't you want to cook for your husband? Like they say feminism is about not wanting to cook for your husband. You as a woman, you're now trying to buy into his point of view because you want him to that's literally what a pick-me is. So you look like you're better, you're different from other women. So I've had someone say, we were just having a random conversation about a lady in her, let's say 60s. She has a daughter, but she's never been married. And then she was like, the lady is just there. And then she now said that she likes company. Me, I like company. I'll not be feminist.
What's the relationship?
I had to school her. I said, do you know what feminism is? She's like, tell me. And I took my time to explain it to her, because what you just said does not make any sense. You like company. Wait, how does that
have anything to do with
feminism? So these are the issues.
So again, so maybe they believe that. I think a lot of people believe that feminists are supposed to be like they are women that don't want to be with men,
Yes.
right? Because they believe they can do it all, and
or they hate men,
or
they can't submit to men, or they don't want to cook for their man. If I'm with a man who by default I want to cook for my man. I'm a chef. I love to cook. I love to feed my friends and my loved ones. If I'm with a man,
I can testify.
If I'm with a man who then treats me right, you will be eating 5 times a day. Does it make me not a feminist? I'm still a feminist because I stand for women's rights. I stand for women's equal access to different things, opportunity, employment, and all of that. I'm still a feminist at heart, to the core of my being, and I think every man should be as well. Because then, imagine giving birth to a daughter and then she's working somewhere and they say, okay, because you're a woman, you're due for promotion, but you're not getting promoted because you're a woman. So yeah, that's just it.
Interesting. Thank you so much for your thing. Wow, mind blowing. It's been such an insightful session with Jamila. Nuggets here and there, lessons here and there, and I hope you've been able to pick one or two things. And I'll just let Jamila recap what exactly we shared on this episode today.
Thanks, Lola. This was a really nice episode, very insightful, thought-provoking conversations we had. We talked about career, we talked about single ladies and how they need to take more risks when they are single, because that waiting period is a time when you need to grow and better yourself. We also talked about men, that gender. Yes, we talked about them. There's no way we won't talk about them. we talked about them. We love you, but it is what it is. And we spoke a little about feminism and how there's a misconception around it. And we also talked about the kind of risks that we want single women to take. While they're still single. So yeah, hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching this episode, and thank you, Jamila, for coming to the show. I hope you had fun.
I did absolutely.
Yeah, so Jamila, she's a chef, like she said when we started. So she's just going to let us know where we can find her, and I'm going to also drop a link to our YouTube page and a link to our Instagram page as well.
Okay, so I'm a chef. I cook everything Nigerian food. Yeah, a little bit of intercontinental, but mostly Nigerian foods or hot soup, jollof rice, anything you can think of. On Instagram, you can find me on Jay's Cuisine UK, same as TikTok. Instagram and TikTok, and then YouTube. You can also find me on YouTube at Jay's Cuisine UK. So yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next episode. Bye.